What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Early Look, CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And of course, I'm from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all the social media platforms listed below or directly at WiseTake.com if you're looking to take your DFS game to the next level. We're a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community design that'll make you a better DFS player. Day Pass is available for $2.50 if you want to try it out. Projections, cheat sheets, core plays, Paulie D's fast break, our pre-lock live stream, which is called our main Wise stream, which we do 45 minutes prior to lock, taking you up to lock to keep you as updated as we can until that happens. Along with the slate breakdown, after we have had our news, right? Know what to do. NBA is big on news. Aside from that, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on any of the free content we put out. And hit the like button. The likes really help us out. They go a long way, allow us to continue to do the free content that we put out. So give us some likes, give us some feedback, leave some comments. On YouTube, I try to kind of respond to what I can see, but trying to do a better job of that. There's a lot going on, obviously, running WiseTake and making sure that our members are getting what they need, but it can't leave out the YouTube Nation. You can't do it. That being said, quick shout out to Paulie D. Last night when I recorded the Tuesday slate, it was a little too early for me to make the call, but Paulie D smashed on Monday night. Paulie does the Wise streams with me Monday through Friday. He does the NBA DFS fast break Monday through Saturday on slates with 4 games or more. Had Malik Monk in his core. I know he personally had about 50% Malik Monk, who just smashed at low ownership and was really a slate breaker. So shout out to Paulie. I think he won like 4,300 total. Got really close to a 100K takedown. Got real close. He got 2 teams, I think, in the top 10. But walked away with 4,300 while risking under 4. I think it was like 397 or something like that. So shout out to him, man. He was definitely a big night. That being said, we're here to discuss the Wednesday slate. We've got 10 games. Hopefully Fred VanVleet is not on this one after breaking the Tuesday slate. Did not have enough of him. I had 16% on DraftKings and not any on FanDuel. He was overpriced process-wise, but obviously wasn't overpriced in total. Went out there and did his thing. Anyway, Philly and Charlotte looks like our first game. We've got Joel Embiid in a smash spot against Charlotte. Charlotte not good against bigs. And Ben Simmons kind of always smashes Charlotte. Charlotte's been impressive. Impressive as in they've been hanging around games. Like we saw them have a shootout with Milwaukee. They've been hanging around more games than I think we usually expect. But right out the gate, the expensive guys, and the the 3 most expensive players are the Philly guys, right? Joel Embiid on both sides. Joel Embiid, Simmons, and Harris. I think Embiid, at 10K, it's not like a great price, but it's a great matchup. It's a good price and matchup, I think, for Simmons. I know the usage hasn't been all that great this year. But like I said, for some reason, he smashed Charlotte. I think the last time he played him, he didn't. But look at his history overall against Charlotte. He just destroys them. Tobias Harris, okay for tournaments, but nothing that really stands out. Gordon Hayward's playing big minutes. We can take a look at what he's doing. He's playing big minutes in Charlotte. This seems to be more comfortable over here, playing with some young guys that don't have the attitude. Maybe the guys in Boston had who are just extremely talented. But you can see even against Miami, 41 minutes. So I think he's at least in the conversation for cash games every slate because of how many minutes he plays. We'll check the status on Terry Rozier, who missed the last game, right? Looks like he's questionable. If he's out again, we would assume that LaMelo Ball would get another start. We'll have his hands full, I think, with Ben Simmons, but I think in cash games, if LaMelo Ball is starting, you have to lock him in at these prices. 6.6 on FanDuel, 7K on DraftKings. The ceiling is too high. He got 31 minutes against Miami. He got into some foul trouble, which really hurt his upside. But if his floor in a start is 27 and his prices are where it's at, I think we go for it. Let's see. Devontae Graham's okay, right? He's within reach. He's taking a big step back this year with LaMelo Ball around, but he's within reach. PJ Washington is out. How many minutes did PJ actually play? Let me check on the DraftKings screen. PJ Washington, where you at, bro? Played 24 minutes before getting hurt. Curious to see who picked up the slack. Obviously, Zeller's minutes have been pretty locked in. So even against Embiid, I think we can consider Zeller. 34 minutes against Milwaukee, 39 against Miami. He's a high point per minute producer, there's no doubt. Rebounds, blocks, all the good shit. Devontae Graham 5'5". I'll be having to make a decision on him for sure. Also, Malik Monk, Paulie D's boy, right, for Charlotte. A little off topic, I know, but 39 minutes against Miami. That game did go to overtime. He was just on. He was on. And even against Milwaukee, got 22 minutes. So keep an eye out for him once again if Terry Rozier is out. Miles Bridges is really, really cheap. I would assume that he benefited. Not really. Not exactly a boost in minutes, but he's been playing decent minutes. I would assume that he gets a little bit of an opportunity there. But I know PJ Washington was playing a lot of 5, so that leaves obviously the floor open for Zeller. Maybe Biyombo gets a little bit more minutes, who's kind of been phased out. We could see Caleb Martin, these guys get some run, Cody Martin, whatever. But from what I see, Gordon Hayward I think is going to play a ton. We like LaMelo Ball, and Cody Zeller. There's actually a lot to like, not only in this game but specifically on the Charlotte side. Pacers and Milwaukee. It's a back-to-back for the Pacers. I'm cool with Giannis. Indiana, the Pacers. Again, never gonna try to say that. The Pacers, pretty good rebounding team, right? With Turner and Sabonis down low. Not a situation where I love loading up on Giannis, but I think this game will be competitive because I think both teams are good. So I do like Giannis in that sense. Sabonis is really cheap at 8,300. 8.8 on FanDuel is even lower for him. We can get down on that. Brogdon's really cheap in a revenge spot. 8,100. He's gonna have his hands full with Drew Holiday. But the price, 8,100 and 8.4 are fine for the upside he has shown this year, given that TJ Warren has been out and LeVert's obviously not ready. Turner I'm okay with, right? He doesn't do a ton for me, but I think I'm okay with it. It's a 10-game slate. It's hard to figure landing on him a ton, but that's the way it's going to be for everyone, so the ownership could be low. As far as Holiday and Middleton, it's kind of like Giannis. You're going to play them in, like, I don't want to say game stacks, but you're playing them in close game scenarios. And if this game is close, it has the potential to be the nuts, even though the Pacers are a little bit more of a defensive-oriented team. I don't mind going back to Jeremy Lamb as well, who's been playing solid minutes and giving solid scores. So as long as his price is within that 5K range, which it is on both sites, a little higher on DraftKings at 5.7. 5.7. I'm cool with it. Bobby Portis, man. Never know what that dude's going to do. Doug McDermott, 41. The minutes have gone down a little bit. So he's still okay, but I would think and hope maybe we have better value on a 10-game slate. Dallas and Atlanta. This game seems pretty interesting, right? Obviously, Luka D in a pace-up matchup seems pretty phenomenal. He's 11.5 on FanDuel. They always kind of price him up, and his points go further on DraftKings. I never play as much of him on FanDuel. Against Denver, you get the occasional 82 or San Antonio 61, Chicago 78. So occasionally you'll get that. But for the most part, because you don't get the triple-double bonuses, you get penalized by turnovers, and he's got the ball in his hands so much. You don't get, on DraftKings, you're getting triple-double bonuses, double-double bonuses. I always like to play Luka more on DraftKings, and that's going to be the case today. But again, FanDuel is something where I'm willing to overpay for guys because you end up overpaying for a lot of guys over there. That's just how it works. Trae Young on DraftKings, 9.5. I don't mind at all. I mean, these are two guys that have been talked about, right? One took one over the other on the draft. This should be a pretty good game. So I'm good with Trae Young, but more so on DraftKings where you get rewarded for the three-pointers. Clint Capella is 8.8 on both sites, which is expensive, but this is the price tag that he's kind of earned with his play. I don't like the fact that the minutes have been on the lower side. Like, we'd like to see him go into the 36 that he was doing before. DeAndre Hunter is out. Dallas has been getting smoked by bigs. I don't care who's in it. Porzingis, anybody. They've been getting smoked. DeAndre Ayton smoked them the other day. Just in general, they've been struggling. So I think Capella in tournaments. I know we're not used to paying 8.8 in cash. Not happening. But in tournaments, I think he's on the table. Porzingis, I think, is also in tournament plays. Same thing with John Collins. They're fine. All right, pace up spot. This has got game stack written all over it, and I think it will have a pretty fair amount of ownership. It looks like Josh Richardson's price shot up since that last game. Looks like he may be finally back. Cam Reddish had a couple really bad games, but I'm not willing to rule him out just yet. But even so, looks like a pretty good game stack game. Danilo Gallinari is only 4,200, and they're just, I don't know. Even with injuries, he's not playing a ton. It's kind of disappointing. What'd you get him for? Anyway, definitely one of the more game stackable games that I see. Rematch of the Knicks and the Bulls. Tibbs gets another shot after getting embarrassed. Knicks kind of came out flat. He was not happy. We know the deal with Zach LaVine, obviously. His floor is somewhere in the 30s, which is pretty solid for most players. When you're paying $9K, you don't want to get stuck with that. It's tournament only. Julius Randle at 8,600. How much is he on? Oh, Randall is 9-1 on DraftKings. Holy shit. Did really well against Chicago, got 39 minutes. This is a game that Tibbs wants to win. I think Randall is definitely in play in tournaments, especially on FanDuel where he's 8,600. I'm marketing is fine. RJ Barrett, usually a big minutes type play. Let's see how much he is. Levine's only 8,500 on DraftKings. That's definitely a little bit better. Just throwing that out there. The Knicks have emphasized defense a little bit more. Barrett's minutes have been a little bit down. I think they go back up, but they've been a little bit down. Just this whole game is just tournaments, right? There's not really a ton in cash that we like. Maybe Randall at power forward, depending on the pool. Quickly in tournaments, don't forget about that guy. It's just a matter of time before he takes the job from Alpha. And look what Thaddeus Young is doing. He continues to go out there, and he continues to dominate at the 5. Now, this is particularly of interest because the Knicks have struggled against centers all year. So, once again, another good spot for Thaddeus Young. Annoying that on FanDuel they put him at center, but accurate. He's been playing center, and that's why he's been playing so well. Mitch Robinson, man, he could smash in the spot. He only got 20 minutes against Chicago. It was disappointing. He could smash here. Could is the key word. He has in the past, but this year he's looked a little bit different, right? A little different. Mitch Rob is only 5K on DraftKings. Definitely interested there. Alec Burks at 4,800 on FanDuel, 4.7 on DraftKings. I think is also a fine GPP play. The problem, even though we have Tibbs, like Tibbs only plays his main guys. Like Randall is locked in. RJ Barrett locked in. He still isn't so sure with the rest of the guys. So he's still mixing and matching. You don't know if Burks is going to get 28 or 21. They got Austin Rivers floating around there, Reggie Bullock. So even though it's Tibbs, it's not as much of a slam dunk just yet, right? We don't know just yet. Going down to Otto Porter, only got 18 minutes against the Knicks. His minutes have been down in general, which is a shame because he has massive upside and he's cheap. We got Patrick Williams, 4,200. 28 minutes, just didn't do a whole ton with him. This whole game is tournament plays. I think the one cash game play, and I think it's specific. Well, you could argue Levine on DraftKings at 8.5, but I think the one real cash game play on FanDuel is Julius Randle at 8.6. At least as of now, and that may even change because we have more games to get to. Clippers and Cleveland. It's a back-to-back for the Clip City Clip. So as far as defense goes, Cleveland's not very good at it. So I think that the Clippers are fine, right? You're obviously worried this game gets ugly, but the back-to-back could help Cleveland hang around. Andre Drummond is currently a game-time decision with his back. If he's out, we're going to load up on Jared Allen. That's an easy one, right? He's 7K now, though, so... even at 7K, I would still play him a lot. Loading up as much as we did the other day, probably not. On DraftKings, maybe more so at 6.5. I wish he was still power forward, or if I wish he was power forward, but that'd be nice. But remember, Nance is still out. No Kevin Love. We do got to see the status of Patrick Beverly. He missed tonight or Tuesday night, but we got to see what the status is for him. If Drummond does play, it's a good spot for Drummond at 8,400 on DraftKings. Really good price for Drummond. But they have not really committed to giving him big minutes. This is a contract year for him. That's got to bother him. But they went out and got Jared Allen for a reason. But the minutes look up and down. 28, 28, 23, 32 where he smashed. Just very inconsistent. But I would think they would kind of need him. That's the one place that the Clippers are more vulnerable and anything else is big. So they would really need Drummond's help. Colin Sexton. Usage and minutes have been there, not been an issue. 41 minutes against Minnesota. Efficiency has kind of been an issue since he's gotten hurt. We know there's upside, but there's also some good defensive players on this team. But I think we can at least consider him at the very least. And again, just kind of a tournament play situation with all these guys. Reggie Jackson's going to depend on the status of Patrick Beverly. Batum is fairly cheap. Taurean Prince with Nance out did get some decent minutes. His price has kind of been elevated at this point. 4,900 on DraftKings, 5.4 on FanDuel. He's fine. We know how bad he could be. It's a low floor. We know how low the floor is. It's a shame with Lou Will, man. I love Lou Will, but he's just, I don't know. Part of me wishes they'll just trade him somewhere else that'll actually play him. I don't know if he's got an issue with the coaching staff or what it is, but they've definitely scaled him back. Cedi Osman. If we end up in that same situation with everybody out, he only got 17 minutes, but he did smash. Now, the 17 minutes was kind of confusing. I was a little surprised that that's how little he got, but he did do really well with that limited minute time. JaVale McGee, another one, only got 13 minutes, even with Andre Drummond out. So that's just how much they're committed to Jared Allen. They made that trade for him. Obviously, they wanted him, right? As far as the Clippers go, listen, Kawhi and PG are fine. I mean, PG at 8,400 again. Same price on FanDuel, still way too cheap. Even 8.7 on DraftKings to me is too cheap. But keep in mind, we have to when a push comes to shove, when we start digging into this later on, we have to consider, is this game going to stay close? Also consider, what do we feel about the back-to-back? And most importantly, position, right? Look at the positions. Are there pivots? Look at the price range. Are there pivots? Is my money better suited elsewhere? But on paper, first look, looks pretty good. Whoops. Washington and Miami, back-to-back for Miami as well. We'll see if Russell Westbrook is in or out. It's a back-to-back. I don't think he's played in back-to-backs yet. So if he sits, expect Bradley Beal to be the cash game play on DraftKings at 9.7. He's 10.8 on FanDuel, a little bit more expensive. But expect him to be the cash game play on DraftKings for sure. And you could argue it on FanDuel because we know his usage is even higher with Westbrook out. Bam Adebayo is expensive, but he's earned the price tag. He's playing well, playing big minutes. Butler's back, so it's going to take away some of that monstrous usage that we saw from Bam. And Butler himself has played really well. So, since coming back from the COVID thing, over 50 DraftKings points twice. He's just on fire. So I guess the rest was good for him. So even at 8,500 and 8,400, I'm interested. Again, he's in that Paul George price range that we discussed. Different positions, I get it, but just giving examples. We'll check the status of Tyler Hero. Dragic is also questionable, so a lot we're waiting for. The cheap guys on Washington, it could be interesting if, assuming Westbrook is out. Has Ish been playing? Ish has upside. He's missed a lot of time. He's got some upside for value. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. Duncan Robinson has gotten really cheap. Let's take a look at him real quick. Duncan Robinson, just not really performing. How much is he on DraftKings? The 3-pointers were a little bit more over there. He's 5.5. See, DraftKings won't lower that price. Get the 3-pointers. Too valuable. Davis Bertans, I do have interest in at 43. Listen, he's taking a ton of threes. He's just not really making them. But if he happens to be making them at a certain point, and it could be here against Miami, he's got massive upside because that's really all he takes is 3-pointers. Yeah, it does look like Nito is out. So if Nito is out, I'd be willing to play more Ish Smith for sure, if assuming Russell Westbrook does sit. So we'll check the status on Nito later. If Westbrook is out on the back-to-back, then I do think that Ish Smith is a very viable, strong value play, right? For sure. That's what I think. How much is Ish on DraftKings? Ish. 4,800. Still doable. Assuming Nito is out and Westbrook sits. We don't know that for sure, though. We have to wait. Right. We'll move it on. Too much news on Miami. We can't really, too many things we're waiting for over there. We'll go on to Houston OKC. Christian Wood, we know what he's been doing this year. It's been awesome. On FanDuel, it's pretty big that he's power forward. It's pretty huge. He hasn't even been getting the minutes the last couple games and still putting up respectable scores. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is out. Ooh, that's pretty big. I didn't even know he was out. That's pretty big. John Wall also out. So this game could get interesting because Oladipo, I could tell you off the top, but John Wall out, Oladipo becomes one of the priorities, at least for now. I got to take a macro view of the slate when we get closer. But for now, that's my initial instinct. Eric Gordon becomes a little bit of a better play. I hate saying that, but it's true. Where's Eric Gordon? Eric Gordon's 4.9 on FanDuel. These guys become better plays. What we need to see is who benefits the most. And I'm actually going to do it on my other computer so I don't jack anything up. I need to see this, though. I want to see what happens with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off the court. And I'm assuming George Hill is still out, too? Yep, George Hill is still out. So no George Hill. No Shai. I don't think I'm missing anyone else. See what happens. I mean, Hamidou Diallo is the nuts. Like, he's the one. Hamidou Diallo is 4,500. He shows the biggest, right? 1.24 fantasy point per minute, 27.5% usage rate with Shai Gilgeous and George Hill off. The problem is we're not sure of the minutes. How did Shai do in the last game? Did he get full run? He only got 28 minutes, but that's not that far off from where he normally plays. I clicked his name again like a dumbass. Where's Hamidou Diallo? I mean, Maladon is like, I should have went to him first, right? I always get excited for Hamidou Diallo because his point per minute upside is massive. But yeah, Maladon should play a ton. And he should be like, he's probably the cash game guy. 4,300 on DraftKings, 48 on FanDuel. As far as guys that get usage, I'm seeing without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Maladon's at 19.9% usage, which isn't bad. Darius Bazley's usage has gone up, but his point per minute output has not been great. Lou Dort has also shown some upside and whatnot. The problem is the sample is so small. He's got like 22 minutes without those guys on the court. But this is something we're going to want to dig in on here because this is going to be where we get some pretty solid value. It's hard to stomach Dort, but Bazley, Eric Gordon with John Wall out, Theo Maladon, and I got my eye on Mr. Hamidou Diallo. And I'm thinking he should definitely get some run. If no George Hill, like, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, a lot of time, him and Maladon are the two guards, right? So I think he's going to get run. Look at this, the upside this kid has. Never gets big minutes, but you wouldn't know it by his scores. So Hamidou Diallo would be my dude on both sites. If everything checks out. But we got to check, man. It's a first look, so I haven't really... I got to see... They don't seem to like to play the guy as much as I like and much as I wish they would. So I got to figure out, make sure they're going to do it. Also, I guess another person more obvious is Al Horford, who is going to have a massive usage increase in this spot, right? 6.5 on FanDuel, 6K on DraftKings. So Horford, Bazley, Eric Gordon, Oladipo for usage. Christian Wood should get more shots up with no Wall. And then, of course, I like Hamidou Diallo. I'm going to keep an eye on him. And, of course, Theo Maladon. There's a lot in this game. Injuries do it. Maybe we get some other injuries that kind of pivot us off and get us to a better game. But right now, this is looking pretty decent. Minnesota at San Antonio. Karl Anthony Towns is out. D'Angelo Russell is the game time decision. DeMar DeRozan's price is too low on DraftKings. 6,900 I know he's been shit. I know a bunch of people have been getting burned by him. They were in a tough schedule stretch, whatever. They got blown out twice by Memphis. He's too cheap on DraftKings at 6.9. And to be honest with you, he's probably too cheap on FanDuel at 7.2, especially against a team that does not play defense like Minnesota. DeJounte Murray, I could certainly get behind as well. With White back, the minutes are suspect. Now, again, the two back-to-back blowouts, so we didn't really see Murray get an opportunity. But with White back, we're a little worried about what that's going to do from a minutes perspective. Beasley's okay for tournaments, right? Well, I should correct myself. If D'Angelo Russell sits, then Beasley is the play from this team. If D'Lo sits, he's taking a ton of shots. That's just what he does. Naz Reid, it's a pretty good spot for Naz Reid if he plays. Spurs not good against bigs. Matter of fact, LaMarcus Aldridge is out. So the Spurs are another one of those teams. There's going to be a lot of these, right? DeRozan, DeJounte Murray should all see usage bumps. Keldon Johnson, who just balled out in his last game, could see a minutes increase and a usage bump. So, again, a lot to like on this team as well. How many minutes have we seen from Derek White? 21 and 21, so that they are playing him. Jakob Poeltl, right? More of a DraftKings thing always because he's not preventing you from playing other guys. Jakob Poeltl is 4,600 against a team that's really bad against centers. I could get into that. Poeltl is another one that has some upside. So these are two games we talked about in a row where there's a lot of plays we're going to want to look into. We need the injury news to make final verdicts, but San Antonio is pretty clear right now, right? DeRozan, Murray, Keldon Johnson all get boosts. Jakob Poeltl should also see a boost and play minutes more than he's accustomed to with LaMarcus Aldridge out. The Minnesota side, we need news from. We know Cat's out, okay, but Naz Reid is questionable. D'Lo is questionable. If he's out, we will look to Malik Beasley to take a ton of shots. We'll look to Anthony Edwards, whose usage when he's been on the court has been terrific, despite having some inefficient performances. This is another game you got to circle. Another one we're going to circle and come back to pre-lock. Phoenix and New Orleans. News-wise, Devin Booker is questionable. Check and see if he has a tag. 7,600 for Booker is real cheap. I know he hasn't shown the upside this year, but it's cheap. Hamstring, he's probable, so we expect him to play, as in he's probably going to play, as we like to say. What about Steven Adams? Adams is questionable currently, right? Let me find him. Calf, questionable. We'll see. If Adams is in, I'll just address him because he's there. If he's in, I don't mind him at all. 5-1 is too cheap. Phoenix terrible against bigs. If he's out, though, then that opens things up for some of these other guys. We'll start with the more obvious, Jackson Hayes, who was a disappointment, I think, to those who played him. Only got 11 minutes. Meanwhile, our boy Willy Hernangomez, got 28 minutes and went off. So be on the lookout for this. Again, a stronger DraftKings thing if this comes to fruition. He's 3,900 on DraftKings. So if Adams is out, do we go here again? I want to investigate to make sure, because it could have been foul trouble or whatever that they got him in that position, right? On DraftKings it would show me, but let's see. Let's take a look at Jackson, Mr. Hayes. Take a look at you real quick. Take a look at you real quick. 4 fouls. So he had 30. Okay, against Houston, 3 fouls. He's been getting into foul trouble. He had 4 fouls in 11 minutes against Sacramento. So that's really what did it. So maybe we do go back to Jackson Hayes. On FanDuel, it's only $100 more expensive. On DraftKings, he's a little bit. He's like $400 more expensive. If we think he'll stay out of foul trouble, but he's playing Aiden, who's fairly active. So we think foul trouble is a thing. We load up on Willy Hernangomez. That's the if Adams is out. If Adams is in, this whole thing is shot. But I do like Adams in that scenario. All right, positions not center. Zion Williamson, I'm good with. This is a pretty good matchup for him. Looks like a matchup issue for a team that doesn't have a lot of size. Brandon Ingram, man. I mean, I like Ingram. I play him a lot. But the peripherals have really slowed down. The assists, the rebounds, he's just all about scoring. And he's scoring. But scoring-dependent players that are that expensive are scary. A revenge spot for Bledsoe, though it's not the most recent revenge, right? It may not be that big of a deal to him. 5.6 is still a fair price. 5.9 on DraftKings, a little more expensive, but still fine. If Booker were to miss, I'd be into Jay Crowder, but with Booker back, it's just not all that enticing. And that's pretty much it. I mean, you could take some shots on the rest of these guys, but not as exciting just yet. We'll see the news on Adams. Last but not least, Boston, Sacramento, back-to-back for Boston. A really good spot for Tatum, right? And Jaylen Brown, let's be real. We know Marcus Smart is out. De'Aaron Fox just went nuts. No, Marcus Smart's good for the Kings for defensive purposes. Fox just went nuts. 8,500 on DraftKings, 82 on FanDuel. This is a better spot for Boston, in my opinion, than the Sacramento guys. Pace, defense, all those things. Rashawn Holmes. Yeah, balled out against New Orleans. That's one thing about Willy Hernangomez, man. Not a good defender by any stretch. In play for tournaments. Harry Barnes has been awesome, man. He's been playing really well this year. 6-3 on DraftKings, 6-1 on FanDuel. Coming off another big game. He's been solid. He has, man. I can't really knock him. My friend Buddy Hield, who I like more on DraftKings always. He's 6-6 on DraftKings, 6-7 on FanDuel. Has been getting monstrous minutes. 39, 36, 39, 37. Big minutes, man. Cash game playable, just solely based on the minutes. Kemba Walker remains cheap on FanDuel at 5.7. He's 6.5 on DraftKings, makes a little bit more sense. Bagley's minutes up and down. Don't know what the fuck's going on with Bagley. Play the man. He'll probably get into foul trouble in this matchup, but I don't care. Play the man. You dumb SOBs. Halliburton also at 5.6 on DraftKings. 5.4 is cash game playable to me because he's getting 30 minutes a game. And look at his floor. His floor is, what, 20? Look at 17 and 12, but not when he's getting these minutes. And he has been getting big minutes, so I'm good with him. I mean, there's guys you can take a shot and see who you think is going to play more with, what's his name, out? Marcus Smart out. Let me see if there was a confirmed lineup for the Tuesday night game. They went Kemba. Yeah, they went Kemba, Jalen. This is basically the same lineup they were playing when Kemba was out, but instead of Smart, it's Kemba. So nothing seems that different. These guys are all fine tournament plays. The Kings are not good against bigs, so Tice or Tristan Thompson are certainly in play. And that's going to do it for today's breakdown. Appreciate those of you hanging out with us. Again, hit the like button on your way out. Leave some comments. I'll try to respond on YouTube as much as I can. Do me a favor and share the show. Whether it's the audio version on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, the YouTube version, really it helps us out. We're trying to spread the word of the WiseTake Nation, grow the nation. I think that as a DFS community, the bigger we are, the stronger we are. So help spread the word. We appreciate it. Again, hit the like. Make sure you subscribe. Drop a comment. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, hopefully I see you for the pre-lock Wise stream at wisetake.com. And as always, good luck.